Let's chat a bit more about this now. Recent prices, of course, of formula milk have ranged, just to give you an idea, from £6.44 up to £13.52, with 76% of infants on some kind of formula milk by the time that they are 6 months old. But the UK law prohibits the advertising of promotion of infant formula. Shel is an infant feeding specialist and joins me on the line this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is a fascinating story, and certainly one that I wasn't aware of, and certainly the dangers of it as well. What exactly are they then, Shel?
Well, as your report said there, if a family finds that they can't afford to make a tin of formula less until the next time they've got money, then their options are to use something completely unsuitable, such as plain cow's milk or one of these replacement vegetable type milks. Or to water down the milk that they've got already, which not only, as your report said, can result in that water intoxication, but might just leave you with a child who's hungry and not getting enough nutrition.
So is it the bit that fascinates me is the fact that watering it down could be harmful. So does that change in some way the I don't know, the molecular makeup of and the nutrients within the formula, and therefore makes it harmful?
Well, it won't change the nutrients in the formula. There just simply won't be enough of them, and there'll be too much water.
Right,
but
my point being,
the infant is expecting a particular makeup of the milk in order to feed their body, nourish their brain, help them to grow. Yeah. If they're not getting that level of nutrition, if they're having more liquid and less of the nutrition, then obviously that's going to be a problem for that infant.
Okay, now we were hearing earlier on this morning that if you choose one of the cheaper formulas, that it's not necessarily a problem and that it would still be fine. The price ranges, of course, are quite stark, aren't they? What advice would you give to parents?
Well, there's simply no need to choose based on advertising. There's simply no need to choose based on what's most attractive to you in the supermarket. You can totally choose based on price. You can choose, honestly, because they have to be nutritionally equivalent, because we have quite strict legislation governing what needs to be in the milk. So you can choose based on what matches your kitchen. You can choose based on price. There shouldn't be anything nutritionally between one kind of formula and another. So the ones who spend lots of money on advertising and promotion, they're at the more expensive end of the market, and there's no need to kind of fall for that advertising. You can absolutely buy a cheaper one, and it will be just as appropriate for your infant's needs.
Okay. Finally, are you surprised that there hasn't been more made of this? Clearly, it's not a shock to you. You were aware of this all along. But how come so many of us aren't aware of at least the potential dangers involved with this?
I suppose it's a dirty secret that nobody would want you to know. But I suppose as well that most people in positions of authority who would be able to get this message out aren't in a position where they would ever consider watering down milk as being appropriate. We're talking about the very poorest people in our population, who we know are increasing in number. So this sort of thing is going to become more common, unfortunately. And so we probably are seeing a rise in it, but it's not something that people are necessarily going to want to discuss. It's shameful, isn't it? Not being able to afford to feed your kids. That's awful.
Indeed so, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today and telling us a little bit more about that. Some insight there from Shel, who knows all about feeding youngsters and the potential problems with diluting formula. Who'd have thought it? We know a bit more about it this morning thanks to the experts we've had on BBC Sussex Breakfast.